It will link 2 downtowns, 4 university campuses, Grand River Hospital, intercity transit, countless employment, shopping and cultural destinations, and more than 20 neighborhoods. Operating within its own right-of-way, ION light rail trains will never be stuck in traffic. The transit hub at Victoria will link ION with intercity transit to the GTA and beyond. ION will form the spine of an iExpress bus network that will provide fast, reliable transit to all parts of Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge. When service begins in 2017, it will carry 25,000 passengers a day, numbers that will only increase as our region grows. With developers and tech companies clamoring to be near the Central Transit Corridor, we'll soon be discussing the extension of ION Light Rail into Cambridge. Where will ION Light Rail Transit take you? For more, visit tritag.ca.
Okay, well, as we just saw, that was a video from TriTag, and we have a gentleman here from TriTag, Mike Bose, who knows this issue quite well. Mike, first I'll go to you and just say, critics of this project say it's a train that's going to connect 2 malls, and your video is trying to show it's much more than that. Can you tell us how it is much more?
Oh, well, I think the geography of our region is really well suited to rapid transit because we have so much that's sort of in a line. One of the leading principles of good transit planning is be on the way. In other words, you need to, for transit service to be effective, efficient, you need to have things sort of in straight lines or in a way that's easy to get from point A to point B. And our region is really well laid out that way. And I think, when we say mall to mall, we're forgetting all of the awesome things that are in between.
Jay, I'm going to ask you a little bit in a minute about the legal action or the legal step you've taken to stop this project. But first, in a nutshell, can you explain to people why, as you see it, LRT is not a good deal for our region?
Well, if you look at the route and you can see the video and you see it's starting from mall to mall. They keep saying it's not mall to mall. I keep saying it's mall to mall. And they keep saying it's 550,000 people in Waterloo region. Well, it's only Kitchener, Waterloo, the rest is all the buses that is connecting to the rest of the region. So this is why we were going to go and spend $1.9 billion and 19 kilometers. So if you do a quick math, that's $100 million per kilometers. So if you ask anybody, will you invest $100 million per kilometers? They're going to fall off the cliff.
That's over 30 years, though.
Yeah, but it still is $100 million, and that's our biggest problem is the cost. They all have the vision 30 years from now. Google is working on the cars drive by itself. And in the future cars, even as a company, we're looking at electrical cars. So to me, why are we wanting to invest something in 30 years from now to say this is choo-choo train is going to get us from one mall to another mall? It does not make sense. You know what? When you talk to the citizen people, the old citizen and 72 years old and 73 years old, that they live on old age, they only got $1.65 raise. So you know what? When you look at these things and you add it up and you're saying it's only $11. Yeah, for me as a business owner, what's that $11? It's only a cup of coffee for me. But when you look at it to the old fellow out there that I'm fighting on behalf of them and I'm trying to stop the things, it's a loss of money. And that's all we hear. It's $11. Well, if you're so good, $11, why not take money $11 from your pocket and give every citizen out there $11 from your pocket? And let's see how you feel about it. They don't see that. And that's our biggest problem. And that's why you've seen, Carreras even showed the picture. It doesn't even show the cables on the top. And that's our biggest problem. You're not being honest. You're transparent. The whole project is being transparent. And you know what? That's our biggest problem. People are saying, oh, you know what? You just don't like change. No, we love changes. But you got to be a right investment, the right change. And you know what? Rapid buses, even Glenn Murray, Minister of Transportation, said it's between the council and the resident of the town, of the region, to decide which direction to go. What's the rush? My question to them, what's the rush in it? Right. Why not wait till,
Mike, I just wanted you to jump in there. Why do we need this then? In a nutshell, Jay's saying we don't need it. We can't afford it. Why do we need it?
Well, one of the things that our region has done really well is in planning for the future, and not just transportation planning in their little world, and the land use people planning in their little world, and public health planning in their little world, but saying, let's get together, let's plan what kind of community we want, what kind of we're growing by almost 50%. How are we? What kind of community do we want to be like in 20 years? And if we keep doing things the way we're doing, we're going to be building more roads, more pipeline, more water pipes to your houses. If we're spreading out, we're spending more on road repairs, sewage repairs, even policing, fire costs. All these things add up. And if we build the smart way, if we orient ourselves the new growth along sort of a line where travel is convenient and fast and it's not congesting our roads with traffic, then we actually save money in the long run. And it as pointed out before, it would be about $25 a year rather than $11 a year what it would cost us additionally in terms of the car infrastructure that we'd need without light rail.
We'll have to pause there. We're going to go to break, but we'll be right back in a moment. You're watching Talk Local on Rogers TV. Welcome back to Talk Local. I'm your host, Greg Mercer. For the second half of the show, we are joined again by Mike Bose from TriTag, and we have Jay Asa, a local businessman who is behind the group StopLRT.ca. First, Jay, we're going to go back to you. I got to ask you about this legal action you took this week, or at least said you would take. Where's that at, and what are you trying to do?
What we're trying to do is trying to put an injunction in place to stop for them stamping the drawing, the contract, and give a chance for everybody to have a say. All along with this, when we started this website, Stop LRT, is about giving us a chance to vote on it. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking don't do it or this or that. We're asking give us a chance to vote. If they're so confident, and they know they're going to win, and they show you the drawing, and they show you all this beautiful picture, and they know they're going to win, what's the rush? It's only 253 days. It's only about 4 months. So to me, I look at it and I'm saying, give us a chance. Let us do it. Give all these people out there a chance. Now, when it comes to the legal action, we hired a lawyer from Toronto to look after this because there was few things we didn't believe that it was actually it's still under appeal, and that's a Section 24 of Plan Act of Ontario, and that's what we thought is in there. They keep saying it's a 2007. We understand 2007. Yes, there was already in a place. We're talking 2010, and they keep going back, and that's why there's a court system. And that's what I love Canada about. Is the system in a place. We'll go to court and we'll deal with it, and that's why we're back to again saying, give us a chance. That's all we're asking for.
Well, I want to ask Mike that. Jay is saying, why can't we push this back to an election in the fall? What's the harm in waiting a few months?
Well, first of all, we know what the cost would be signing this contract today. We don't know, if the winning bid will want to hold to that same price with a delay. But most importantly, to say that the public hasn't had a say in this is unfair. We've been through 2 municipal elections since this has been introduced. We've had hundreds of consultations. Thousands of people have gone through and given their feedback to the region. And to try and put the brakes on it now, we already reviewed this back in 2000. We put it on pause in 2010 and went back to the drawing board, reviewed it, made some refinements, and then put it back on track. To say let's not keep moving forward with what we've already decided back in 2011 is to invalidate this whole process, and that's just not fair.
Jay, I want to ask you about that. He's saying the train has left the building. We've had ample time to talk with us. It's been debated for years. So why now? They're saying you're too late to the game.
And that's the problem with our Region Council. All along, they've been saying the train have to left the station. And they just brought it over to the council just last Monday. So now they're telling us the last 2 years, the train have left the station. They're telling us, if we stop it now, it's going to cost us $200 million. Now Mike is telling me, you know what, we don't know if the custodian will be able to hold that long. Well, if you're in the business, and I'm in the business for 25 years, going to 26 years, you know what? If it's a job, and if the owner tell me to hold it for 3 months, we got no problem holding it 3 months. What's the rush? That's all the excuses they keep going. You know what? We've been through election. Well, the last election, we had 5 of them. 5 of them, they were all against LRT. And then, you know what? The minute they got in that seat, they changed their vote. And how can you call this one? Now we know. This is what's happening. Now give us a chance. So what we're asking for. If they're thinking they've been waiting for 4, 5 years, 10 years, what's the 4 months? Really, I don't see anything into it. He's talking about restructuring the road. Well, you got to have to structure the road. It's not going to not stop him restructuring the road. They're talking about $1 billion. This is a loss of money. We're talking huge money here. So just give us a chance, like everybody else in the business, to vote on it. That's all we're asking for. StopLRT.ca is what we're saying, and that's if you go on that website and see it, it's all saying the same thing. Give us a chance. If they're confident, let them take it over to the next level. And that's what I'm looking at. And, even Mike doesn't have the right answer for that. So, you know what? And that's what I look at it. So let's look at it in that joint. You know what? If you're so confident and you got beautiful videos and drawing and all this stuff, you guys working on it, wait. Let's see how beautiful it is. You know what? Let it work itself out and get to that point. Like, this is all we're asking. You know how many people during the day, they all come to my office and saying, please do something about it. So I'm just telling you, Mike, we're trying to do something about it. Is please, all we're asking nicely, please give us a chance to vote on it.
Jake, can I just jump in? We got a tweet from Kate Daly, one of our viewers, saying, so our community is projected to grow by 50% in the next number of years. I know it's not very clear, but what kind of community do we want? How do we move people around with that kind of growth? What are you proposing?
Buses. What's wrong with the buses? Every study has been done by the region. It tells you the buses move more for less. What's wrong with the buses? You know what? 30 years ago, they didn't want to build anything. Well, you know what? If we didn't have infrastructure in a place for the roads, we could have moved the traffic through in there, through the cities. So you know what? If you want to change 5 years down the road to the train, that's not a problem. Widen the street right now. Give it a chance. If it's 5 years down the road, you think the train is the right way to move the people, then you got enough room to put the train in the place. All I'm saying.
Mike, just very quickly, you want to respond, it looks like.
Well, for those of us who do take the bus from time to time, we know that they're full. They're reaching capacity, and as a resident of Ottawa, or former resident of Ottawa, should I say, knowing that when a bus rapid transit system reaches capacity, it's miserable. And